Right, so here I'm going to show you is how to start a laminate floor. Or a vinyl floor really. When it comes to glue down, it comes a bit different, but here. I don't want to start off this wall because when I end up over here, it just makes it harder to get this board in, and it's always nice to have a full board going up against the next floor. In this case, it's the bathroom tile. So what you want to do is you want to grab your full board and you want to put it right here. So that makes it, like, you can even it out on each side to where it looks the best. Right there. And you want to grab 2 more boards. Mark this cut, and how you get this cut is so this end will be connected in there. So you want to put that in against the wall to get the length of it. And you want to mark right along this tongue. It's right there at the end of the tongue. Mark that as an X. There's one board. You get your other board, you do the same thing. So you flip this way and you butt it up, and since this tongue part now is going in here, you want to mark right along the edge of that little, the other tongue piece that's going to connect in. You put your X. If you have a floor and guillotine, this makes it a lot easier, a lot quicker, a lot less dust is made. But if you don't, you can have a miter saw. If you're an animal, you can use it with a handsaw or a jigsaw, whatever you want. But in this case, I'm just going to put that board there. I'm going to grab this board, do the same thing. Cut it there. Now for these 2 boards, I'll just show you now, that'll fit in, and this will also fit in there. But those boards, you don't need them right now. You just want to set them off to the side like this. Well, now that I've moved that, that's good there. Now what you want to do is you want to get this piece under in there, so it is about 10 mil away from the tile, and that gives you enough expansion, and that also leaves you enough to put your board in to here. I've explained this in a previous video to where you should end the boards. So what I want to do is, say that's lined up, I want to mark it in there at the architrave, just a bit in, or if you're in America, the door casing. You want to mark that one there, and you want to mark this one about the same distance from there in, so it's about a centimetre or 10 mil in there. I'd say that's about 3/4 of an inch in America. So now that you have those marked, you want to take the board out, put it to that mark that you just made right there where it's going to go, and then right here in this architrave, you want to mark the middle of that architrave like that. Now you might not be able to see this on video, but it's that pencil line. So there is your piece you don't need. Now how I did that straight line, I just put my finger up against it and then adjusted to where the pencil end of the pencil goes, and just ran my finger along the end. You keep that same grip on the pencil, you put your finger there and you mark that. So now that you keep the same grip on this pencil, now that board is marked. Then you want to go to this end of the board you don't need, so I need that tongue, so I'll keep it. And all you want to do is just mark it like this. You just go all the way down, and then that's the thing, always keeping that same grip. You go over and grab this other piece, and then you mark it like that. Now you can do the same thing, cut it with a handsaw, cut it with, in this case I'm going to use a table saw, which is the best saw to use to cut this. Or you can use a skill saw, a jigsaw. If you're good enough, you can just, boom, just friggin' judo chop. Anyway, I'm going to go down and cut this. Now, if you're used to using a table saw, then you don't really need to hear this. But if you're not, so what I did was I set that width. I'm just going to turn it on and I'm just going to run it through. I'll run this board and the other end cut through. So now that I have those 2 end pieces cut, you just want to go cut it like this now. Now as I'm going to cut this, you're going to notice both of my hands are on the one side of the blade. You never want them on each side because that can pinch and you can lose your grip, or the board can kick back. So having them on one side keeps it balanced and you're able to have a lot more control of the board. So now what you want to do, you want to put these boards together, like this. Put that end in, it's nice and even and flat. Put that down where it's going. Put this end in, just like that. Then if you have these, where are they at? Oh, here they are. These are a really nice tool. You put them there, you set to what depth you want it off the wall. I'm just going to put it a wee bit off for now, on each side. And then you grab another board. So I'm going to start with a full piece on this one. So it's a nice little cut there. I'm going to line it up with this one over here. I'll take them out for now. But and for this, since I don't want to, usually when you put them in, you want to do this and then lock them into place like that. But since this is at the first couple of rows, you want to just line them up like this first. Make sure they're all snapped into place, laying flat. You want to grab your hammer and where is my tapping block? I don't have it, so watch this. I see that, magic. Anyway, now this is where these come in handy. You want to put that there, and you want to, if you have them, you twist it like that, and then I'll give you something hard to hit up against. Get your tapping block, put it right there on the edge, put your foot there, just to make sure that the ends are meeting up. Check it. Well, so that's in where it's supposed to go. Now to have that in, you don't need this piece right now. So now what you want to do is you want to push that in. And the reason you put 2 rows together, you can do 3, but the reason you put 2 rows together is so these boards don't get all knocked off square and then just cause more problems for yourself. You get them in like that. A good expansion. I could get in a bit there. Oh, let's go this way. Push that in. You can take this piece out now. I have more, but they're downstairs somewhere and I'm not going to get them. But so now that's in, you want to check this, and I'm right on the line. It's right nice parallel. I can push it in a wee bit more, or a nice parallel. That leaves you perfect expansion for the trim to go in, and it just looks a lot nicer with a full board. It's a lot more professional looking, in my opinion, and in professionals' opinion, really. So now that you've got that going, you want to know, where do you start your next boards? How does the pattern go? Well, here is a good pattern to do. So you want to line that, you can just leave that there for now. But now you want to get your full boards and mark them like this. Cut a wee bit off, put it off to the side. Cut another good bit off like that now. Put it to the side. So that's not the pattern you want this with. And then you cut a lot more off. I'll put one right there since it's not the same size there. You can rearrange them. This is a good pattern. Well, it's not really because of that one. Take that one out. You put that one there, that there, that's a bit close. So let's take a wee bit off that. Let me see here. Started off funny, but anyway. So there's 4 boards that you want. Now that's a good pattern. If you see one is here, then these 2 are here. You never want them to meet up like this in a direct line, in a random stagger, because it creates a H. But if you're doing that style, then you're doing that style. I don't like it. A lot of people don't really like it. So when you put this board in, the wee small boards, you want to. It's always easier to put the small boards, connect them to a longer board. So then when you put it in, it just slides in, and that part of the work is done for you already. Now you can do this with a hammer and a tapping block, or you can get a mallet. Unfortunately, I got this in California, so all the people in Ireland and UK, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know where to get it other than California. But you can get another mallet that's just a mallet without the hammer part. As long as it's a white one, it's a soft mallet. So now that that's in, you're ready to start your flooring. Over here, you want to leave expansion, minimum 8 mil, but you want to leave 10 to 12 maximum really. You don't want to go anything more than 12 mil. So now that you have your floor started like this, there's these end cuts here from the starters that you made. I like to put them over to this end of the room, so then when I can use them here when I'm finishing the room. But to get these, you do that same trick you did to get this piece. You flip it the other side in, so this is there. That's where it's going to connect. And then you mark right there. You grab another one. You do that and you mark it. Now, to get these in, it can be a bit tricky sometimes. So I'm going to take this from there. I have more, I just don't want to get it. I'm going to put that in here. You could also use the material, as long as it's not a big thickness, like this one will work. You can just cut little strips and put them in there and use that. You don't need these, but you can use the little offcuts of the material to give you your expansion space. But you can put that in like this and either grab your hammer and topping block, which most of you probably will have, so I'll do it for now. You want to get this up angled to that one, because you can beat it in, but you're risking breaking that right there, which could cause your floor to fail at some point. So you have that in, you put your foot on the seam, and you just tap it into place like that. Now I'm going to show you another way. If you have a pull bar to do it, you can just line it in like this, but again, you want to make sure down here is blocked. Right there, that is 12 mil, so it's perfect. You can put them in that way, and then you just make sure there's weight onto this, and you just hit it into place like that. And there leaves good expansion. And I'm almost done here showing you, so just hold on a second. There's another way to put them in. Put it in like that. Get you, oh, it's tough. Let's see, this, you can run the risk of that popping out. But then you just hit that in like that. So whatever way you feel most comfortable with doing, then I would suggest do it whatever you're most comfortable with. So now, here's what a lot of people forget about or just don't want to take the time to do. I'm going to put that down, move this down a wee bit just because I'm on limited supply of these things right now. And you can, if you have these, that's a good trick just to get the real tight lock into them. Now, I move that down just a wee bit. There. We're good on both sides. So a lot of people forget about this part, because either they just want to get done quick with the job or whatever. So since I haven't put this board in yet, because I'm going to allow for adjustment, you want to measure to this back wall here, like that, and go to this board, this one in. So I have 3055 mil. I do the same thing over here, and I have 3058 mil. So as that's fairly close, that's good. But if you want to get it perfect, you can do this 355, and you get your pry bar and just bring it to 355. And still leaves good expansion there. So there's that side locked into place. And since you've moved it, you want to check this side again. Right on the money. So I know that this floor is parallel to that wall and it's still perfect right here. So from here, I'll show you how to get this cut. You grab a small board from an offcut that will fit in here, just temporarily put it into place. Grab a full piece, put this into where it's going to go, so right there, because these walls you can measure to this, and then you never know if this wall is sideways or straight or what, but this gives you that perfect cut. And grab another little scrap piece, and you want to butt it up against the wall and mark it along here, like that. Take it out, line it up to where it goes, mark about 10 mil off that wall, and then you can either do that, or if you have a wee speed square, you can get that line perfectly straight down like that. And then there's your piece. I know it's hard to see because it's a dartboard with a pencil lead, so, but I'll go cut this one now and I'll show you. Now here's a tip when cutting these ones. You want to never have your hand up here. Always have your finger up against the board like that and line it up to where you're going, and you can push off your finger and it helps keep it straight. So you can do it just quick like this. Same thing, both hands on the end of the board. Same thing, both hands on the end, one side of the blade, and cut and run it through like this. So now that you have your piece cut, see, this is another thing you don't want happening. I kind of overcut that, so it's overlapping a wee bit. All you want to do is just cut that back like that. Cut that wee piece out. So now the underlay is not overlapping. Going to cause just, I would call it a real small problem, but it's not it. So you put it in like that, or the other way, whatever way you want to do. And there it is. Could have cut that a little bit more, but bringing it back will still leave enough expansion. You just, if you're doing it this way and there's still not a lot of weight with the floor to hold it into place, a wee technique to just only move this board and not the rest of them is when you do it, you don't want to hold it back here because there's too much torque. You want to hold the mallet or hammer up like this and just a quick snap of the wrist like that. Then that will get that nice and clean there. So there's starting. Now you grab this board. This board will go under there, but all you do is throw it under the architrave, just about halfway under through this, and then mark it with the edge of the board. Since you're not buttoning it up, you want to just put it to where you know it's going to go and mark right there. That gives you just the exact cut that you need. And cut this. So now I have that piece. Same thing, you want to grab an extra scrap piece of board, put it right there, gently tap it in, just, you don't want to damage anything or do anything, and then line this up to where it needs to go, like that. Grab that other board, and again, all you do is just mark along that. So I'll go cut that. I'll save you the bother watching the video, so I'll just skip to me back in the room. So now they're back in the room, all you want to do, get that into place like this and slide it over like that. You can feel it's flush right where I want to go. Now there's that. Now you use these end pieces from these cuts, the enders, to go for your starters. If you need to cut a little bit off just to adjust it, then do that. But yeah. Anyway, there's pretty good in-depth explanation on how to start a laminate floor or a vinyl floor, any plank floor really. Glue down's a bit different because you have to snap lines and keep it in the glue. Same concept, just a lot more precise, so to speak. There's that piece. So I'll do one more row, so you know how to get in, and then the same concept on that one will apply to here, and same will apply to here. So I'll do a wee tip video on how to get under the gables clean, nice and neat. I already have a video explaining a good, easy, foolproof almost way to cut under that, so it's a nice clean cut. But I'll do this one more to show you how to get under that door frame, door casing. So what you want to do, so since there is a seam here, and a seam up here, and this is a full board, so you can't go any further out there, you sort of want to just find a straight line where there's no seam in it. And in this case, it could be either down here. I think that would be the best. So yeah, I'm going to do that. Again, I'd say there a little bit less than that. Right there would be a good spot to put your seam, since there's a straight line going across and there's no seams directly matching it. So I simply take that wee piece and you always connect the smaller pieces to the full board. Again, this is how I like to do it. You can also get on the floor and pull it up. It's a wee bit easier because you can apply pressure. Then you run the risk of this. This is a different type of laminate that method is a little bit harder. So. Now to get this piece, you're going to line up again to where it goes with the header board, and you want to mark in the middle of that architrave. Same as down there, same concept, just a different way of going at it. So I know that is right there in the middle of that architrave. You mark right here, and then, well, you need to mark it here too. So I did a thing. I have another video on where to end it here, because this will be carpet, and it'd be ended essentially under the middle of the door, a little bit smaller than the middle on this side. So you mark there, that's the end cut. And you can mark, you line it up side or lengthwise on the board. Get the door out of the way. And then you want to mark it the same thing in the middle of this architrave. So then you want to cut that first, but I'm going to bring that line down past the line, the end board where it finishes. And now I know there's my other piece, my other line. I'm going to mark it, I'm trying to mark it dark for you, hopefully you can see that. So that piece is what I don't need, and I have to cut off. And for these pieces, a jigsaw is really what you'd like, because it makes it just easy. You just So now that it's cut, you want to line it up like this. I need to go down and get these from down there, but for now, same thing. If you want, you can get a scrap piece of this floor and put it in behind there for these. So I want to put one here to give it a bit of something solid to head up against, make it a lot easier to get in. Grab a wee pry bar. Sure, all I have to do is go up slightly, just at a slight angle, to make this click system get into place. Put your foot on it, start at one end. Using that same wee trick, a quick snap of the wrist. And there, pieces in lengthways. Now, I'm going to put that there. Mine doesn't really fit, so I can do it that way. But then you just boom. So there is how you start a laminate floor, parallel, excuse me, parallel to the room, parallel with this whole wall. If it's parallel on both sides, you can only assume it will be, if it'll be parallel to the rest, but that doesn't really matter, because it's parallel to the room. But anyway, if you thought that was helpful, leave a comment. If you want me to go into more depth explaining other things about flooring, just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to do it for you. But please like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed it.